Disclaimer: my content is made for 18 and adult content not made for kids. Hello, this is Warlord 12 and I wanted to talk about this subject about Vice Tiger. I like Vice, not Weiss. I'll get that out the way. So I believe that this character Shigeru is the one that is the owner of Vice Tiger. Now, other than Shigeru being the owner of that Beyblade, people were talking about how does Vice Tiger make any sense when it comes to the theme of Pendragon. So in mythology, it's already a thing with dragons and tigers fighting against each other, fighting with or amongst each other, fighting with each other, what have you. So this has been in like stories when it comes to mythology. So you're wondering about how does the tiger even fit with the dragon theme, and this has been a theme. It's basically to me it's like basically like the dragon and the tiger being mortal enemies. So it's like the dragon and the tiger are basically like they're polar opposites to each other, right? And people have said, it's been said before, even like in an anime, it was talking about how the only thing that could beat a dragon is a tiger. There's like other symbolism to that other than just anime, when it comes to, themes and symbolisms and stuff like that. People are talking about, I know some people would say that like a dragon's too big for a tiger, but people have said that there are dragons that are big, but they're not that big. When it comes to Chinese dragons, like the long dragons, basically. But I'm sure that some long dragons can, some depictions of a long dragon basically can vary when it comes to size and who's writing the story, what have you. So, and for all we know is Shigeru might have a Beyblade technique that represents a dragon. Who knows? So that's all I can say about that. So even right here, what I'm saying, when it comes to information on Google, it talks about how the dragon represents yang and then the tiger represents yin. What I'm saying? So it's like, the whole light and dark type of thing, evil and good. So that's, saying, so when we talk about themes, so this would be a theme basically, if you want to talk about how does this tie in with the dragon. And if who knows that, Takara Tomy, what I'm saying, when it comes to Beyblade X, who knows, they might go for a theme like like how they might make it where like the tiger is like an anti-dragon depiction type of thing. Who knows, right? Especially when it comes to anime and media in general, movies, entertainment. When it comes to people in Japan that make stories, they come up with a lot of different themes or symbolisms. They make certain things work, or they have their own ideas of, when it comes to symbolisms, and like they do it in a different way that people wouldn't expect, or they think about it in a different way that some people wouldn't think about. So that's another thing to also take into consideration, right? Now, I give credit to Zenki when it comes to doing certain information. I was just looking up some random information for Beyblade X, and I came across something that, I guess like an article or something that, Zenki was talking about this specific character having less spin. Now, other than that, when I was doing it for myself, doing my own research, I thought about this character beforehand and doing doing my own research, not thinking about someone else's research. I was thinking about, how could this character be, the next Ryuga, or using a left spin Beyblade? Because I'm like, it doesn't, because to me it didn't make any sense, because what threw me off basically was when, I'm trying to remember the Beyblade's name that came out. Yeah, Cobalt Drake. because when that came out officially, it's a right spin. So I'm like, okay, so he's just gonna use a right spin Beyblade, I guess. So that's what actually threw me off on that. But then I had to think. Then I just went back and thought to myself, but hold on. I said that wouldn't make any sense, because why would they have a specific character of Chrome's caliber and being like a top blader, basically. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the athlete like aspect or whatever it is in the Beyblade world, it doesn't make any sense. And then so what I'm saying, like I was thinking, since there's two dragons, right? You have Drowned Sword and then you have Cobalt Drake. So I said it wouldn't make sense for them to both be right spin, right? So I said, okay, so this character has to be using left spin. By the way, the Beyblade in his hand, this isn't actually his Beyblade. This is just like an edit that someone did, right? But more on this whole thing with the Cobalt Drake. So it could be that, the next Cobalt Drake that comes out, I'm not saying like an upgrade or nothing like that. I'm just saying that it could be that when we get Cobalt Drake for everyone to use, basically, when it comes to Takara Tomy and Hasbro, it might be a left spin Beyblade. Or maybe Chrome is actually going to use some other type of character. But obviously what gave it away about this character being, as far as like the next Ryuga, the next left spin Dragon Blader, is basically his name Ryugu. So similar to the name of Ryuga, right? But what got me to think about this whole left spin thing is because of the little ornament that Ryugu or Chrome has in his hair on one of his bangs. So with that, right, the story of how he got that in the first place for that design was because of Blader X. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember his real name, but basically he put that in Ryugu's hair, right? So it's almost like a hairpiece, or like a hairpin, or what have you, or like I forgot what they call it, but they got some different types of designs for men's hair with different jewelry and stuff like that. So, and that specific part or piece came from a pin. So it's like another, the theme of when it comes to Pendragon, right? So other than that, but that detail got me to really think that, okay, he must be using a left spin Beyblade, because that specific jewelry, so it's the shape and design of a dragon. So I was like, okay, this has to be the next character that's going to be, use left spin, stuff like that, right? So other than that, right, so we're talking about theories and everything. So now it's like, we know that Shigeru and Chrome are on the same team, obviously, but it's just those two because X left, right? So so now it got me to think again. So I'm going to say this: people have speculated that that one of the Beyblades for Pendragon is going to be a turtle. So I have a depiction of a turtle here, but it's a snapping turtle. So I was thinking for the group Pendragon, they might go with the theme of a snapping turtle, right? That might have a dragonic like look to it when it comes to its design to fit the dragon theme. Now, other than that, in the animal kingdom, people have already said before, or it's already been noted and documented, that there are certain animals that people not just like believe, but that have. I'm trying to remember the best word or best way to put it. That some people have already decided that the best way I'm going to put it is that some people think of certain creatures as dragons, or that's the best way to put it is some people in this world, they consider certain creatures as dragons. Like snapping turtle, they would probably consider this a dragon. Then you have Komodo dragons. Then you have, things like a barracuda. You have things like sharks. people would consider those things as like, dragons. And then you even have bearded dragons. So you have like etc. The list goes on. There's a lot of different, reptiles and lizards and snakes that would be considered a dragon, right? And even in the Bible, the snake, people consider the snake as a dragon. And at one time and point, the snake had arms and legs. And for its punishment, when it came to like the, Garden of Eden and the snake tricking Adam, its punishment was it lost its, limbs, legs and arms and stuff like that. So you can only imagine how terrifying a snake would be if it actually had legs and arms, right? So but I'm saying, when it comes to snakes' cunningness, and how intelligent they are and how smart they are, right? Now, but other than that, what I really want to get into for this, so I want to talk about, so when we talk about dragons, this is a cross between a dragon and a horse. This is in Chinese mythology, Quilin. I've heard some people pronounce it as Quijin, I believe. I don't know, maybe I heard that wrong, but I do know one of the ways that people say is Quilin, right? Okay, so with this particular creature, it had before, some mythological stories or depictions, I would say, is that it's almost like a hybrid between different creatures. Some people call this specific creature, I've seen some things, read some things on it where it's said that it's almost, people are comparing it to like a chimera is the best way I would put it, right? So things like that have like different features or different parts of different animals and stuff like that, right? So that's another thing as well. Or, I've heard before that someone used this for like a One Piece theory, the Quilin, as far as, a specific character named Yamato. So I'm thinking now, this could be like the third character's Beyblade that's on Pendragon's team. Or, this could be like an upgrade or something like that. I'm just saying that this could be an upgrade for Vice Tiger in the future. I'm not saying that that's what they'll do, but I'm just saying because the Quilin is basically like with different depictions of, different parts of different creatures and animals. So, they might go with a design like, or, symbolism like that, and just have more features of a tiger. So, I'm saying there's different ways that when it comes to stories or cartoons or anime or whatever it is, you have people that come up with all different types of symbolism, right? So I'm just letting that be known, obviously. Now, other than Ryugu or Chrome, or I guess maybe people call him Chromie. I doubt it, they'll probably be Chrome. Either way, it could be later on in the future. Other than Ryugu owning a lesbian Beyblade, there might be another character that owns a lesbian Beyblade, and that's been done before in some of the other Beyblade animes that have already come out before, that they had like at least 2 or 3 different lesbian Beyblades, or like maybe one was lesbian or 2 was lesbian and then one was like dual spin, stuff like that. Now the last thing I want to mention when we talk about dragon themes or Pendragon theme, they might go with a theme like Multi using Wizard Arrow against, or Rod Arrow against Ryugu or maybe one of the other members of Pendragon that uses the Dragon Beyblade, because that's in mythological stories where they have like a wizard fighting against a dragon, stuff like that. Or another way, it might be both this and like obviously we might also see Multi using her Knight Beyblade fighting against a dragon, because that's a depiction that we see a lot in themes with the knight versus the dragon, so that type of thing. Now when we talk about turtles or snapping turtles, they might go with a theme with its design looking like, not exactly looking like a Loch Ness monster, but being similar. Like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like how that makes sense for a turtle. Well, I'm getting to that part. They might, you know what I'm saying? Talker told me they might decide for a design to go with making it like almost like a Loch Ness monster with like a elongated neck. You know what I'm saying? Some dragons are depicted that way. Even like, the dragons that fought against knights and stuff like that. Except with this, they might go with it, but it also not only does it have a long neck, but it also has like a turtle shell or something like that. But obviously like a rigid shell that that the best way to put it is that how some snapping turtle snapping turtles have like this rigid like spiked like shell. So they might do that, and they basically. So what I'm saying is, they might combine different ideas for different creatures and come up with their own type of dragon or something that has to do with a bunch of different things and stuff, right? So I'm just putting that out there as well. And this is Warlord 12, and I'm out.